Welcome to Mindy Illustrates, and I have here with me today Brittany, and she's living in Izmir, Turkey at the moment. And she moved there, I think she said 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the way that we met was in our church in Baltimore, and I noticed that she was a fellow creative and and she was taking pictures professionally as a photographer, and then she had this thing she was doing on the side. She was painting pictures of kids and just watercolor paintings of, yeah, like whatever inspired her. And I just thought it was really cool that she's inspired by her surroundings. Yeah, like that's why I wanted to have you on here, because I just love the stuff that you're making and posting on Instagram, and it's just cool to see the process. And yeah. So would you want to say a little bit about, like, maybe what inspired you to want to paint, and
Hmm.
or like just your creative process, and maybe like your background of when you were a kid? I don't know. Maybe there's something that inspired you to want to be working like with watercolors and stuff.
Hmm. Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me. It's so good to see you, and just be here and talk about creative stuff together.
I
Super
know.
fun. Man, yeah, wow, yeah. When everyone asks you when you're a kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I just only ever remember two answers. Like, I just always said, I want to be a singer and an artist. And it's funny, like, in one sense, both of those things kind of happened. So just to say that I've been creating, since I can remember. It's always been a part of, like, who I am, kind of like part of my identity, and how I express myself through art or music. And let's see. Yeah, I got to go to, like, a really special kind of high school where it was an art school, basically.
Yeah.
And I got into the school thinking that I was going to spend those 4 years, studying drawing and painting, and kind of getting better at those mediums. But then they introduced me to traditional photography in the first year, and I just kind of dropped everything else and fell in love with that. And from that point on, I was only studying photography, and I started working professionally as a photographer after I graduated high school. I did a little bit of college. I didn't finish my degree or anything. With photography, I kind of was like, oh, I don't need the degree. I can just start working. And, that was true for me, actually. Um, but just to speed up and get to the watercolor and the painting and stuff, I really just totally dropped that. Like, probably when I was 14 years old, I just kind of stopped painting and drawing. Um, and then when I was about, let's see, in 2000, let's say 2015, so maybe 5 years ago, I kind of was burnt out with photography, and was still working, still doing it professionally. But I was pretty burnt out with it. It wasn't definitely not my creative outlet anymore. So, and I was kind of going through some personal stuff, and I just needed another outlet. And I had some markers, actually. I just had some markers that someone had given me, and I was like, I just need to create. And so what came out of me was just these little, probably you remember them, like these little kind of innocent, cute little, like, children, just simple illustrations of children, maybe in some cool clothes or pose or something like that. And that became my expressive, like, outlet, um, maybe to kind of deal with the hard things I was going through. At my outlet, in my free time, was just to create these fun, innocent little, cute little characters.
It all started with a box of markers.
It all started with a box of markers, and
Awesome.
I think eventually I started following some artists on Instagram, and started kind of seeing their techniques, and I was like, oh, I should try watercolors. Like I think I had some of those too. And then I eventually switched to watercolors and totally just fell in love with it, and just studied a lot from looking at other artists and trying it myself a lot, and really kind of self-taught myself, with watercolors. Yeah.
I remember you did some, maybe design work too, like a little bit of design work as well.
Mm.
But anyways, when you said about your childhood, like, I couldn't help but think about how when people would ask me, like, "What's your favorite subject?" I would be like, recess?" And it would always
Classic.
be, like, art class and recess, and
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah. I mean, who doesn't like art class? It's
I know. It's funny. I feel like I always was like, oh man, people just think that's a cop out answer, but like it really was the favorite. Like, I think it's just the type of, we just didn't know that we were those creative type people yet, like that would
Yeah.
really turn into something that we continued into adulthood, just like people are like, oh, that's the easy answer. I'm like, no, I really love it.
I just wanted to say a little bit about, like, that you're living in Izmir, Turkey,
Mm.
and yeah, and I guess you went there to volunteer at a church, and you, also play music there, and, it looks like you just are really enjoying, like, traveling and living life there. So
Yeah.
how does that, like, inspire your artwork?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, nowadays I have so many kind of inspirations to choose from, in a sense. That's how I really feel. Um, I mean, I would say I'm really inspired by like any culture that's like not my own. I feel like I've always kind of been drawn to that. Something, like art is my way of kind of maybe understanding something that I don't understand. It's my way to try to figure it out, kind of like, or just appreciate it. It can be both. But yeah, I mean, being here and living in Turkey, it's like the city I live in it's like half modern, half kind of old. Like there's like old parts of the city, old buildings, and definitely just a totally different culture than I'm used to. So I'm very inspired here. There's I mean, the food, the colors, the buildings. Like I just last year I started um actually I kind of have this interesting little thing that I do sometimes now. It's almost embarrassing, but I'm like, whatever. It's just something I do now. Where during the pandemic it started. So we couldn't. We had lockdowns here every weekend. Sometimes for 4 days in a row, we couldn't leave our apartments or wherever we were staying. And um, so I was like, I need to get out. I need to like explore. And so I would go into the Google Street View. Do you know that, where you can kind of plop yourself down into like a street and get like like a real view of it, and you can like drive like down the street. So
Oh,
I would start doing that, and I would just like go to neighborhoods that I like had never been to
virtually.
before, or like really old, yeah, virtually, like really old parts of the city that I've never been to. Or And I would just see these houses that I just love, these old little colorful blocky houses that are here. And so I would start looking on Google Street View and kind of, taking screenshots of houses that inspired me, um, and using them as inspiration for some of my watercolors. This year, you may have seen those old houses, and those are all from pictures or places that I've been here in Turkey.
Yeah, I loved seeing those. I didn't know that you were, like, doing it from a virtual tour. That's so cool.
Some of them were, yeah.
So I was thinking about, just that kind of like how you can be surprised by opportunities, like, in these areas of art because, I know it's, like, a difficult market, for some of us to try to get out there, and, would you say that that some things had like some doors opened in this
Hmm.
process of like your creative artwork, that like allowed you to be able to do more artwork?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I would say for me, yeah, definitely that's happened. We were kind of talking like before we really started this and saying how like you really never know like what your like what art is going to speak to which people, if that makes sense. Like, so it's like whatever you have to create or offer, like you should just do it because you never know who else it's going to affect or inspire or touch. And so yeah, like I'm insecure a lot of times about my art, but then I'm like, you know what, I'm doing it for myself, but I also know it's going to like
Just
maybe inspire somebody else. Yeah, so
yeah,
that's kind of been like my motto this year is just create, like. And then and through doing that, I have definitely seen some cool opportunities. For example, just some simple things, nothing really major. Uh, I got to create a really fun little piece for a cafe. I do have it posted on my Instagram page. I would actually just go to this cafe to take language lessons, like private lessons. And then after the lessons, I would need to just like decompress. So I would have my art stuff with me, and I would just sit there and have coffee and paint. And I became friends with the baristas, and eventually they were like, "We would love, we love your style painting. We'd love it if you would like paint a scene of our cafe." And so
nice.
that was really cool. And that was like a paid commission. That I think that was my first paid commission while living here, while
Cool.
living in Turkey. So that was really fun. Yeah, and other than that, I'm currently working on there's a couple girls here who are making a women's devotional, like a women's kind of like a devotional is like a little Bible study. I know that you know what it is, but maybe for viewers, it's like a little like daily spiritual kind of thought from the Bible. And so they saw some of my old paintings and they said, we would love it if you would illustrate this devotional with us. So I'm currently working on that. Different women characters from the Bible, and I just have a lot of sketches right now, but so that's a cool opportunity too. And yeah, uh, like I said, I'm still pretty early in the stages of like my artistic career as a freelancer. But I'm really excited about whatever opportunities are going to come, in the future.
That's so good to hear that there's some things that opened up for you. And so I was thinking about how you were saying about how these some opportunities came up for you, and it was cool, just to think about this process of us as artists, and we don't necessarily need to like make a whole lot of money,
Hmm.
but we just want to like do what we want to do. So we just want to get by, you know.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's hard to explain this to people because um it's like, no, I just want to make enough money to so that I can live on this. And it's
Hmm.
not like
Hmm.
you're trying to make some crazy career, but for me it's like I just want to be able to make a living doing what I want to do.
Mm, yeah.
Say something about that or
Yeah. I mean, wow. Like I find myself personally, it's definitely a unique kind of set of circumstances where I'm at. Just in that, how I came to live where I'm living, why, and everything is definitely unique. I came to volunteer with my friends at a church here, not like a paid thing, so I do kind of have to like I have some help from other friends and people and like my church in my city where I'm from in America. And but otherwise it's a pretty, yeah, it's a pretty simplistic lifestyle that I'm living here, and it's like fine for me because I have this sense of purpose that like I'm doing like what I'm made to do, kind of, like really my main focus here is to like help my friends at this church and to experience the culture and learn the language and learn these learn how to sing and play guitar and sing in this other language. And then it really frees up my time to be able to create on the side, kind of without a lot of pressure. So I know that's unique because I know a lot of artists face a lot of pressure with deadlines and commissions. And I feel really fortunate to not have that experience at this moment in time. I feel like that could change, and I think I'll welcome that, and God will give me the grace for that to deal with maybe pressures and of those things. But for now, yeah, I feel really blessed to kind of just be free to create in the time that I have. You know, um, I kind of forgot what your original question was, though.
I thought that was great. It was just
Yeah,
kind of vague. So,
yeah, yeah.
um, I was going to ask you about some other things, but I think I'd rather hear about, like, how often you work and what kind of
Mm,
materials that you use and stuff. So how often
sure.
do you paint per week, so to say?
Yeah. I mean, right now, just because I have I have this the major project I have right now is just to finalize these sketches for the devotional. That's kind of the only thing, unless I'm forgetting something. That's kind of the only like deadline kind of thing I have right now. So I try to work on that every day, like at least an hour. Um,
That's a good
and I mean,
hour a
it
day.
doesn't always happen. There are some days that like I have too many other things to do, and um, other plans, but I try to work on that, at least an hour each day. Um, yeah, and then I would say for my own like creative stuff, I mean, right now I'm doing this like Inktober. I'm really trying to do this Inktober challenge, which I've never successfully completed it. I mean, I've gotten like 2 days in before and thrown in the towel.
I think I've
But
done like 5 at the most.
yeah. So I mean, I'm trying to be as like no pressure as least pressure as possible this time around. So yeah, I mean, I'm just like I'm not following any prompts or anything, so I'm just kind of creating what comes to my mind, and that's been working for me actually. I don't know, I like rebel against prompts and things. Like I know it's really helpful for some people. It'd be like, can't get an idea. It's like, just fall back on the prompt. But I'm just like, no, I'm going to come up with my own idea. So that all that to say, like, for that, I'm trying to create every day, at least something small. Again, I could spend an hour doing that. So that's like, at least 2 hours I try to set aside for creative time. And then there's days where I don't have much else going on because of just my lifestyle here. If I'm not meeting with people or preparing, for music or anything, I could spend a couple hours in a day getting a project done just for myself, or yeah. And I know I'm like so fortunate to be able to do that. Go out to a cafe and just spend 2-3 hours just sketching and painting. It's like, I know that's not like normal, for a lot of people, but it's where I'm at in life and I'm totally enjoying it. And yeah.
That's great. I
Yeah.
mean, like, that's really what it should be, and um, a lot of people say that once your artwork becomes a profession, it's like it becomes not really enjoyable anymore.
Mm,
And so then it's harder for you to do it. So,
yeah.
I mean, for me, like, it's important to then keep that element of, like, the element of surprise and just, like, having those relaxed moments at a cafe, or yeah, just letting yourself breathe and having, like, inspiring moments, and yeah,
Mm,
that's cool to hear that you are able to, yeah, just relax and make artwork.
yeah. Yeah, I know I'm in a unique time where I can do this, and I think it's for a purpose. I think I always kind of feel like wherever you're at in life is always preparing you for like kind of the next thing. Like I'm not focused on the next thing, I'm focused on where I'm at, but I also know that it's probably preparing me for something to come. And so, I kind of see this as like this time is really purposeful, and I should kind of make the most of it in a sense, really enjoy it. And, you know, yeah, like I have goals and things like that too. But I've seen so many artists now, especially through social media, and we can follow so many people's like art journeys and their through their careers and kind of really gain a lot of insight. And I've just seen so many artists, say, and it's not like nothing negative about it. Maybe that's they really love it, but they're like, man, I have no time for personal work anymore. I'm just like swamped with, commissions or deadlines. And I think that's like maybe that's some people's goal is to like be able, I don't know, just to like be so busy that like, and it's a blessing to be able to be that busy, I know. But like I also have seen other artists who are like, I say no to projects that I don't want to do, and I really only say yes to projects that I do want to do. Maybe that sounds a little privileged, but like I don't know, like I'm kind of in that place right now where I don't necessarily need like a lot of money to live where I'm living and to do what I'm doing. So I can just kind of feel free to create and say yes to what I want to say yes to and no to what I want to say no to. And we'll see where that takes me. I mean, I kind of would love to be like involved with some galleries in the future. There's like some possible opportunities in the future for that. And yeah, so I don't really know other than that.
Great. You actually answered one of my questions I was gonna ask you, so we're all good. Um, so since you answered that,
Which question was it?
it was like, what are you gonna where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I kind
Ah,
of got the essence of that in what you said.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I mean, how do we know? We just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to, if I think if I create like from my heart right now, like whatever I'm inspired by and set some small goals, which with maybe with how many pieces I create or even like challenging myself, I'd like to work a little bit bigger than my comfort zone and, kind of create some larger pieces. So those are like little personal goals that I have and maybe to try out a couple different mediums. Like I've started working a little bit with acrylics and then a little bit with I never know how to say it right, but gouache. I don't know. I think I said it right.
I think you said it right, yeah.
Woo!
I
Art
think
school.
I'm not.
Like so those are like little goals I have. And then, I could totally see um I would really love to like get into like the gallery world a little bit and like maybe some small exhibitions, local exhibitions. Even just I'm like so happy with anything like there's a couple cafes here that like I've been in contact with and there's like some potential things happening in the future with that. And a lot of people have said, "Oh, you should illustrate children's books." And I think it's in the back of my mind. I can't say that I see myself doing that, but who knows? Maybe in a couple years, maybe I would be inspired to go in that direction too. I definitely want to start selling more pieces. We did talk about like,
You had said something about finding a print place to sell copies of your artwork. That's cool.
yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of people reach out, which has been like so like I just feel so honored that people would want to buy my art. I mean, that's like amazing. I've
And
had
it's like, how do you sell it then? Like,
yeah, it's like such a whole thing, and I definitely did not get that side of my brain is just not like yeah, it just is not as strong as the creative side. Like, man, I should take a business course, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna take it one step at a time. I'm working with a print shop right now to it's kind of all a little bit extra hard for me, like dealing with things in another language also. And
yeah.
it kind of makes everything just that much longer and that much more difficult. But it's fun. I'm figuring it out. Once I get the print thing figured out, I'm going to set up a shop. I got to decide how I'll do that. But I'd love to get my art out there to whoever wants it. So,
Yay.
yeah.
Um, you showed me before we started, like your area where you paint. But do you think you could show us like your little paint
Oh,
area?
yeah, totally, totally. So this is where I'm in my kitchen right now. Welcome to my kitchen studio. And this is just like Yeah, this is my kitchen table. This is my very fancy Zoom setup, my Zoom station. Um, Here's my current Inktober, actually. I don't know if you can see that.
Cute.
Yeah. And then yeah, so this is my little workstation. This painting. Did the picture get blurry?
I can see it pretty well.
Okay. Yeah, that painting got a lot of attention on social media. That was kind of fun. But yeah, just my current materials, just working with watercolors right now. So my watercolors, I love these little travel kits. This is one from Schmink. I don't know if that's how you say it, but and then my little
German.
palette. And then I kind of just have like more materials and paper options over here. And you know, I do have my gouache and my acrylic and other watercolors back here. And yeah, and then over here, this is really where the kitchen table should go. But I just do what I do. Yeah, these are like just a lot of my old art, my pieces, and it's a clothes rack, but I use it as a drying rack for art, that I'm currently working on. So
Nice.
yeah.
I
See
mean,
if
you
I
can
can-
show us some of those if you want.
Oh yeah, totally. Let's do it. So, well, here's some of the sketches actually for the devotional I'm working on. So
Okay.
you get the sneak peek preview of those. Yeah, and these are some of the prints of larger pieces that so this is just a print, kind of deciding, if I like the quality or not. Yeah, honestly,
Get
me
better.
neither. There's not a lot of high quality stuff that I found here as far as printing goes, but
They really look. They look not bad. I mean,
yeah, I'm pretty happy with these. I might.
I mean, the picture itself is great. The illustration. I mean, the print.
Yeah.
Wow.
So let's see. Yeah, just for I kind of organized these a little bit actually. These are like just portraits that I did. Sometimes I use references, sometimes I don't. I think this was like half. Usually they're half reference, half like imagination.
Do you use
This
the
was one of
tape? Do
those.
you use tape on the edge?
I do. I use
Okay.
tape on the edge. I tape them down to actually I don't really have like a nice art board, but this is like a big just kind of
Okay.
block of wood that I use to tape my art onto. So
Cool.
yeah, just like a little series. These are all watercolors. This
Beautiful.
one was from my imagination. I kind of posed myself. I take reference pictures of myself. So there's a lot of really
I
awkward,
know.
funny pictures of myself in my phone.
Me too.
This one was really fun to do. I'm very inspired by Black culture also. I'm from Baltimore,
Baltimore.
Maryland. Yeah, woo woo. And I don't know why I've just always been really inspired by Black culture, and so that comes out in my art a lot actually.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then I have kind of like sometimes I go through phases where I just really let myself be free with the phases that I go through. Like
That's great.
you'll notice on my art Instagram account that it's kind of all over the place.
That's
I'll
all
have
right.
like buildings for a couple posts and then people and then abstract, and here's some old works. Oh, here's the cafe piece that I did for the local cafe here.
Nice.
They got a digital copy of this.
Awesome.
Yeah. Another kind of scene character from my travels in Central Asia.
Is this someone you saw in person, or just
It,
general inspired by general things you see?
I would say it's half and half. It was kind of from a scene. I was in a friend's backyard, and this is in Samarkand, Uzbekistan, and this was my friend's kid. But the whole scene was just kind of like it was just so magical. So I just kind of put all the elements together into a picture from my
Awesome.
imagination,
I
I
love the
guess.
colors. I love all the colors.
Yeah, I'm very inspired by like the colors of all the cultures I get to witness. Here's my little house kind of series. These are all watercolors and ink pens. Some larger. This is my newest one.
I have going through my head, I'm like, I'm wondering which ones are from the Google Maps and which ones are
This was from Google Maps. This is one that's actually in my friend's neighborhood. I walk past this house all the time. And this one was from a town I visited, another kind of a couple hours away from a picture I took. And then last but not least, this is totally just like different, way out of my normal comfort zone. I started during the pandemic. I got kind of a little tired of what I had been doing and just was like, I just need to do something different. So I just dabbled with some abstract ideas.
Why not?
And I would really like to continue with that. I did kind of a larger, these are acrylics.
Nice.
Watered down. I kind of made my own little medium with the watered down acrylic. Yeah. So there's a little tour of my art and my studio and all my fun plants.
Nice. Thank you so much. How about that view out the window?
Oh yeah, let's see it. It's my cute little neighborhood. So I've got more plants out here getting watered. Yeah. Here we are.
In Izmir, Turkey, folks.
Turkey.
Thanks for doing that, Brittany, and it was really a pleasure to have you on my new YouTube channel. And yeah, I would have called you and done this anyways, I guess, but it was just even better now that we can share it with other people. And yeah, so have a really great week, and I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye. Go over to Brittany's Instagram and check out her stuff and follow her along. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe my YouTube channel. Thanks. Bye.